They do that to me every fucking time. Go to cross the road and one of them pulls in front of me. Well, I thought I would, once I get out of this fucking noisy bit on this stretch, I thought I may as well tell you the story instead of, because you haven't really shown much of Iquitos itself. The market's really busy. I couldn't find a cambio. But anyway, the story today really is very important for me. Last night it was, in a way, because it brought home really a way of appreciating what other people are capable of doing when I'm just being a lazy fucker. I mean, so today's been quite good. I've got off my ass. I've gone and found a language teacher who I quite like, but she's very expensive. She's $20 an hour, but it's only 3 nights. I'm going to do 3 nights a week. But I liked her because she understood. She's done ayahuasca, and she understood the differences out in the selva with the dialects of Spanish, which are completely different, or very different. You know, she said even she struggles to understand the Spanish by some of the locals in the jungle. It's just sort of just a dialect issue, I guess. Sorry, loads of noise. That's why I'll be glad to get out of Iquitos. I am kind of sensitive to it. I didn't realize, she mentioned it to me. She said, because she's done ayahuasca, and I told her about the diet, and she said, oh, your eyesight and your hearing will be sensitive. I didn't think of it like that, but I guess it is. But it means you are a little bit more irritable. Not irritable is the wrong word, it's not that bad. But you just get annoyed at people, really, because of their general selfish attitude. Like parents, not, you know, it's supposed to be a silent, you know, really quiet in the hotel from 9 o'clock at night till 9 in the morning. And there was a kid running up and down the fucking corridor at 7:30 this morning with flip-flops on, just running up and down, and it's right outside your window when you've just woken up or you're trying to get back to sleep. And then there's another guy who fucking talks so loud, literally they're shouting down their fucking phone. And I've noticed this with the locals. When we were, me, Lewis, and this woman, lovely woman we met last night, who was a doctor from Spain. She's just graduated. And this is what the story's about, because I've texted it to Mike and John already, because I said, how can I possibly complain about basically suffering in the jungle, which means, yeah, fucking insects and it's hot and yeah, but big deal. I'm lying in a hammock most of the time or sleeping on a bed if I'm not sort of doing 10 minutes of Tai Chi or having a bath or cooking some shit food, which I've also solved the problem taste-wise, but anyway, that's another video. The main point of this chat, depending on the noise in the street, is about this doctor who came here. God, it's only you realise when you try and talk, you realise how fucking loud Iquitos traffic is. No wonder I don't want to be here anymore. I've only been here a week, and I want to go back to the jungle now and just carry on with the dieta and get back to tranquility. But anyway, this doctor, she came out here presumably with something like an organization like Médecins Sans Frontières, like French one or whatever it is. But it's out in the sticks, it's quite a way away from here. They have a patient radius of 500 kilometers, so it takes a long time for people to travel. But they offer, free medical services, but they're very limited in their equipment. They haven't got laboratories, obviously. They haven't got scanners. It's not a hospital. It's like a field camp, like fucking MASH, I suppose. So it's really kind of seat of your pants stuff, But she was explaining her level of experience, although extremely stressful. She learned a hell of a lot in a very short space of time. A kind of, experience that you just wouldn't get anywhere else, because people are turning up with all sorts of problems, everything from bad cuts, machete cuts or whatever, accidents, to snake bites, spider bites. HIV is here, incredible. It's really quite prevalent, and people are in a very advanced stages because they've never had any medicine. Tuberculosis is here, so trying to treat all these things with just a small crew. The maximum they had was 9 doctors, which she said was great. They're doing 12-hour shifts, and then and at one point the team got down to only 3 of them, so their workload was just incredible. So she's just done 4 months solid as a volunteer in the jungle, treating people as, you know, I mean, we were just applauding her. She's just, what a hero, you know. So she's exhausted. Unfortunately, we only had the one evening to meet. She wanted to take my WhatsApp number because she was interested in ayahuasca, but she's never done it. So I explained a little bit of it, but didn't want to talk too much because obviously it was about her. She was only there for the one night. So me, Lewis, and her. Lewis had made us some food, and I just sat with them and had a yogurt out of the bottle and just, you know, let her tell her story because it was fascinating. And she told me some incredible stuff because I asked her about snake bites, and she said it's not that bad as people think. You get 12 hours to get to a hospital with even the most venomous snake bite here, which I found quite incredible. She said, first of all, you get given antihistamines to prevent further allergic reactions. Then you're given antibiotics to stop any other infections that are in the venom, or it could set in from the wound. And then you're treated with the antivenom, which is a mix of 9 of the most major types of snake venom to cover basically all the ones that you're going to come across here in the Amazon. Certainly for this region. So it was a fascinating insight as to the reality of snake bites. So that's taken a load off my mind. Not that I was worried. Oh, for Christ's sake! Not that I was worried about it or bothered. You know, I just thought, fuck it. If you get bitten and you've got a couple of hours to live and you ain't going to get to hospital in 2 hours, you're at it. But that's not the case. So in actual fact, you know, there's no real reason to fear any of the worst animals in the jungle. You know, the snakes are by far the worst with a bite. I asked her about spider bites, and she said, in comparison, they're just not an issue. There's nothing anywhere near as venomous as snakes that's, you know, deadly or anything. Even, I mean, give you a nasty bite like a big tarantula or, you know, a big bird-eating spider, but they're so big you're going to see them, and you're just not going to see them unless you're walking around the raw jungle. And in a cleared area like where Maestro's house is, you know, that's just not going to be an issue. So even the one I had in my bedroom once was the similar ones that I saw at Capitari that was on Bianca's mat. In the torchlight they look like a blue-grey. It's kind of small, little mini tarantulas, you know, like only about this big. Although Bianca did say there was a really big one on the ceiling in the shower block at Capitari, but I never saw it. But then that's her fear, so she's probably gone out of her way to be looking for these things. I go by the law of attraction in magic anyway. If you worry about these things and you're afraid of them, you attract them anyway. That does seem to have an element. So what else did she say? Yeah, just a fascinating one. When she told us about her schedule and what she's just achieved, you know, now she was flying off early this morning to go off to Cusco for a break and just have a rest before going back to Spain. But like I said, you know, her CV is going to be incredible with that on it. You know, to have that kind of field experience, because she said it's so much stress at times. She said, but when you've got a team, you just make the most of everybody's skills. You know, like one guy is really good at field dressing and stitches. You know, field surgery. Really, it sounds really kind of raw, back to basics kind of stuff, and you just make do. You know, and of course then there's loads of people turn up and they can have lots of different issues. But the thing about the snake, which was really interesting, about the 12 hours, she had a guy who was in his 70s, And it'd taken him 9 hours to get to the clinic anyway, so he'd already been suffering for 9 hours from a serious snake bite. And they still treated him for 5 or 6 days, and he was fine. He lived and was okay after. So that kind of puts it in perspective. Kind of puts it in perspective about how serious snakes are. And of course, I looked on the internet then last night, and I found a load of pictures like the top 10 worst snakes in the Amazon, and most of them are boa constrictors anyway. So they're not interested in humans. And that one, I found the picture of the one that I had on the video, and it's just it's a really beautiful boa constrictor. You know, it's only 1.5 meters long. Its bite isn't deadly or that harmful to humans, because it just catches and holds on to its prey, like the rat that it caught, and then squeezes them to death. So I was really pissed off because, you know, the picture, it was exactly the same with the markings near the tail. And I'm really pissed off that they killed it. I assume they killed it. We were told, I think they did kill it. If not, they stressed it out too much before, instead of just putting it back where, you know, farther out into the jungle. But anyway, I might as well keep this going so you see where I live, really. So this is Plaza Sargento Loris. That cafe has really good food, but I can't eat it, unfortunately. Disculpe, signore, es necesario por manager, ¿no? Ahí está aquí. Luis, you have a client. Are you alright? Yeah. So that's Lewis, and here's my stock of absolutely addicted to soy milk. The shared completely too small fridge. So breakfast for me is now going to be one of these. And a bit of that one. This one is the best one. I don't know what fruit it is, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So I live off yogurts and those, whatever I cook at the moment. I said, but I just want to go back to the jungle. Now I've got, but then now that I've got now I've got the Spanish class, it's going to give me something to do for the next 3 weeks. So that's really good. So this is the shared kitchen area. I'm going to have a drink and then I'll catch up. I'll show you the view from the balcony with the goggles. I'm going up there for a pipe in a minute after a drink. My room.